Living green or sustainably is about more than saving on your electric bill and doing your part to protect natural resources. It is about a safer and healthier life for you and your family without sacrificing style, quality, or budget. This is a movement to provide all of us with clean air to breathe and water to drink, safe, healthy food to eat and places to live, and energy to run the places where we live, learn, play, and work. The Everyday Green Home Podcast helps you get the value of green for you, your family, and your community. Whether it's green homes, green living, or the people who make it happen, join me, Marla Esser Close, to learn how green and sustainability practices and products work for you and our world. Welcome to the Everyday Green Home Podcast. This is Marla, the Green Home Coach, or hopefully you're a Green Home Coach. I am in my studio remotely podcasting today with Steve Hengsperger.
Yeah.
You're coming all the way from Canada, although I guess you're not too far north, really, are you?
Exactly. Yeah, just next to Detroit in Windsor, Ontario.
You are the second guest I've had in the last few weeks from Canada. So I seem to be on a roll.
There we go. Yeah. Hopefully that's a good thing. Not bad.
Exactly, right? So it's been really fun getting to know you. And I'm not even sure if you know exactly how we met. I mean, we met through Ellen.
Correct. Yeah, that's the first communication anyways. But before that, how you found out about it, I'm not sure how Ellen maybe reached out to you or.
So Ellen and I met, ironically enough, on a webinar that I was giving for the National Kitchen and Bath Association, I think earlier this year.
Oh, okay. I remember her doing that.
Anyway, we just took advantage. Whenever I do a webinar, I offer a free 15, 20-minute consultation or chat to discuss anything that anybody wanted to follow up with from the webinar. And Ellen took me up on that offer. And when we talked, we just had so much in common. And so we started talking regularly. And so she hollered at me a while ago and she said, "Hey, I'm working with this really cool new gizmo," was not the word she used, but that was kind of what happened in my mind. Very cool appliance that I'm going to let you talk about here in a second. And at any rate, that's how you and I got connected. So you never know. Isn't it? I have some great friendships that literally I didn't meet people for a year or two because we met online. So there you go.
And that might be the only way we meet people in the future here. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, we've learned how to do all kinds of things online these days.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about you and the story behind the iClean and your company, because it's a fascinating story.
Yeah. So started Tersano back in 2002. The name actually comes from Terra for Earth, Sano for Clean, Italian, Latin roots. And at the time, the URL was available and it's actually stuck. And it's really what we're all about still today, just on a grander scale here. Yeah, we were working with ozone technology for water treatment. Ozone's already been used in water treatment systems, large scale. Municipalities use it, bottled water manufacturers use it. It's on our hot tubs, it's on Olympic swimming pools. So we were taking that technology and trying to miniaturize it so you can purify your water at home for drinking. And 2003, 2004 was when the EPA, FDA, USDA all came out with their statements about using ozone. So we came up with a really quick prototype for a home cleaning, sanitizing system. And the first trade show we went to sell these two appliances now to retailers, there was way more interest in the home cleaning system than our purifying system. So yeah, by the time we got all our regulatory in place, so testing for kill rates and electrical, because it's an appliance, we brought that first product out in 2006. Exclusive with the sharper image, which isn't around anymore, unfortunately, right?
Used to be my favorite store.
Yeah, it was fun always going to, even to their headquarters. They had some really cool, they had cool office in San Francisco. I loved going there always. And then, of course, their stores had a lot of fun gizmos, as you call them.
There you go.
Yeah. And then from there, we grew to selling through a lot of different retailers into 2008, 2009. But the big thing that happened for us in 2006, too, was that's when 3 people died of E. coli on spinach. I knew Ellen at the time, so same person you met. I had known her, and I was at a food event with her in New York City, and Time Magazine came by and asked some questions about our product and what it could do with produce. They took the product, got it tested at the University of Florida, and because we killed 99.9% of E. coli on spinach, we got a Time Magazine Best Invention Award that year.
Wow.
That's how far back my history goes with Ellen. And then I reconnected with her about 6 months ago again, now that we brought this iClean Mini out. So it all kind of started because in our manufacturing facility, you have all your chemicals in yellow hazard cabinets. You have SDS sheets everywhere. And, we had someone, I think the situation was they came in with a rash and they said it was from one of the chemicals at work. And I was like, well, you just told me you were spraying whatever fertilizer on the weekend at home. So I think it's from that. But anyways, in Canada here, the Ministry of Labor kind of gets involved with those situations. And then a hygienist came out. Of course, we were fine because we were keeping all our chemicals proper at the facility. But I asked that hygienist to come back to my house. My kids were only like 2 or 3 years old at the time. And I said, can you measure the chemical levels in the air in that cabinet under my sink where we keep all our cleaning products? And of course, when those results came back, everything was off the chart. And I'm like, this is not right. That, you can go and buy all these products off the shelf, no real warning about how dangerous they are. And we're keeping them in a cabinet where our kids can reach them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just, selling an appliance. So go back 15 years ago, trying to sell this product through retail was challenging. It still is. It's a paradigm shift. We're taking all these chemical bottles, harsh chemicals, and telling you can replace it with this simple little handheld unit, right? And do everything around your home.
So let me recap a second for our listeners, because let me help make sure everybody's got the dots connected, because this is a really cool idea that for y'all listening to this, you can't see what Steve just held up. So Tersano, your company, has created a small device, a cleaning device, if you will. It's pretty different from how most of us clean right now. And this device takes water, right? And chemically alters it through a reaction that happens inside of the device. And that water, that changed water, which I'll let you get the technical side of it, but that is ozone. What's the right word for it once it's been ozoned?
Yeah, aqueous ozone is the term that...
Aqueous ozone. I like ozoned better. I'm always inventing words. But ozoned water, my words, not his, works extremely well to clean and to disinfect, right? Did I get that right?
Correct, yeah.
And that's what this device does. And it's pretty cool. I've been cleaning with it. And we're going to dive deep in this second segment, so after the break. So bear with us for the rest of this conversation and make sure you stick around, because we're going to really talk about more of the technical aspects. And anyway, it's just, there's some really cool stuff happening with this. So anyway, Steve, keep going. So you introduce this device, this appliance, for lack of a better word. And what's the next step?
Yeah, so back then, it took us 2 minutes to charge up a bottle to get the aqueous ozone, to get the bottle ozone, as you called it. And then ozone, the beauty of it is from a sustainability standpoint, it reverts back to water and oxygen. So you start with water and oxygen, you create this, and we'll get into the technical aspect of what's really happening, but it ends up reverting back to water and oxygen. The negative of that was that it reverts back within like 15 minutes, our old system. So now with our new system, we created it instantaneously. So there's not that 2-minute wait. So now you can keep this handy little appliance on your countertop. You have a spill, just grab it and go. It's creating it as you're using it. And then once again, there's no scent to it. It's a scent-free product. And then there's no residue. So after you're done wiping that countertop or wherever you used it, your floor, you're not worried about your pets, your children touching these surfaces, putting their hands in their mouth, paws in their mouth, and then now they have chemicals, right, that they're coming in contact with. So it reverts back to water and oxygen. So
it's very cool. It was so hard to, like when I was first using it, it says don't keep water in the reservoir. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to waste. And then I realized it was just water. And I'm like, well, just dump it in the houseplants and go on.
Yeah. Or just leave it in there and it's ready to use for the next time even, right? But yeah.
Yeah. It is a really different way to think.
Yeah. It's one of those things, we get it. It's one of those things where people have to get it and use it.
I totally agree.
And once you use it, and that's why we do the whole money back guarantee too, right? Because I'd say once people get it and start using it, it's like, wow. So we switched to the commercial world, so selling on the professional market, let's call it, in 2008. And that's where we focused the last 12 years. That's where the technology became instantaneous, and we have better claims now. And yeah, we sell on that commercial side, we sell the product around the world and have some amazing clients. But this
Well, that is so amazing. Well, hang tight, y'all. We'll be right back and we'll take a deep dive into what I'm calling ozoned water. So hang tight. Hey, this is Marla Close, the Green Home Coach, and I am the author of Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices for a Better Home. And in this book, besides talking about a bunch of stuff about green and sustainability products and practices you can easily take in your home, I also talk about home maintenance and how important this is to having a home that serves you rather than you serving it. Seasonal home maintenance checklists are a big part of this, and I teamed up with colleague Tina Gleisner from Home Tips for Women to use her maintenance checklist, actually included in the book, starting on page 96. And if you have the book, look them up. But I wanted to give you a brief excerpt from the book to get you excited about why home maintenance checklists, I know that doesn't sound very exciting, but why they are so important. So, maintaining a home is actually a 3-part ongoing process: inspect, maintain, and update. To help you keep track of what you've done and plan to do, make notes on the checklist. First, inspect. If you've only got an hour to spare, pick one exterior side of the house or one room inside to inspect. Note the date you did this on the checklist and flag items needing maintenance or repairs so you can schedule time or make a list for your handyman or handywoman. Second, maintain. Keep your home safe, such as smoke detector batteries. Keep your home energy efficient, like furnace air filters, and prolong the useful life of many home features, like caulking bathroom tile. Write it down when you complete a task, keeps you from guessing later on. And third, update. Take advantage of improved materials and fixtures. Upgrade to new building codes, and evaluate when it makes more sense to make an improvement rather than repair, such as replacing a bathroom floor rather than repairing the grout. Check out the book or give me a holler and I'll hook you up online to get the maintenance checklist for yourself. If you'd like to have the entire book, please go to livinggreenbook.com for a multitude of ways to purchase it for yourself. Thanks again. This is Marla, the Green Home Coach. Well, gabbing here away with Steve, talking about the iClean, which is this really amazing cleaning device or appliance. And Steve, so I'm kind of geeking out because I'm an engineer by training, even though I'm doing really different stuff now. But so I get really excited about the technology. So tell us a little bit about how this works, this technology and this little device. And y'all, I'll post some links in the show notes so you can go look at this and maybe even get one of your own. Pretty cool stuff. But anyway, so how does the technology with this work?
Yeah, so in the simplest terms, the air we breathe, oxygen at O2, inside the device, we use these diamond electrodes with a small amount of electricity as the water passes by them. It's because of the materials that we're using with the diamonds, it splits some of those oxygen molecules. And then those extra oxygen atoms now recombine and create O3. So we take H2O and oxygen, there's always oxygen already saturated in water too. So we convert some of that and we create H2O plus O3. So and now that extra oxygen atom that is in the water, it's an oxidizer, right? So bleach is an oxidizer, hydrogen peroxide. Same hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. It's that extra oxygen atom as well, right?
I gotcha. Reminded me of chemistry class.
Yeah, sorry to get a little technical there, but
no.
Yeah, now that extra oxygen atom, we call it Mother Nature's oxidizer because Mother Nature creates ozone in the air,
right,
to clean. So on a real bad, what they call a smog day, what ends up being in the air, a lot of ozone. Mother Nature's trying to break down all the emissions, try to clean the air.
That makes sense.
So Mother Nature uses it. So that extra oxygen atom from a cleaning standpoint, attaches to, breaks down the bonds, it starts breaking it apart, making it easier to wipe away. And from a kill standpoint, it attaches to a bacteria, virus, a mold, and either penetrates the cell wall or totally explodes the cell wall depending on the type of virus or bacteria that it is.
So essentially, you're taking a process that was already in nature, and with applying technology, you've been able to use that similar or same process for us to use.
Yeah, exactly.
In our homes and our businesses, wherever.
Yeah, and that's going back to what we said earlier. Then those extra oxygen atoms just find each other again, so it reverts back to H2O plus O2. We say,
got a picture in my mind. Hi, find me.
Yeah, no, but it's it's amazing how simple it really is. If you look inside that iClean Mini, you fill the bottom with tap water, twist it on. We have a little cartridge on there that just takes out minerals, and by doing that, we can make sure we're always putting ozone into the water.
Okay.
Because without that, if you have hard water, it might not be able to put ozone. It might not be able to do the conversion. So
I got you.
Then we just pump it up and we put it through that cell, and as it's spraying out, you're getting this super concentrated oxidizer. And I should add too, even though we say we're stronger than bleach, stronger than hydrogen peroxide when it's coming out that nozzle, it's totally safe. It's rated 000. That's why you can swim in it, and it's in your hot tubs.
I mean, would you drink it?
Yeah. So the way I always say it is, you can get it on your hands.
I mean, that's kind of the litmus test, right?
Yeah. So you could put it on your skin. You could get it in your eyes. We even say, even if you drank it by accident, no harm done. It cannot harm you in any way possible. So your children can come in contact with this. And, we're in hospitals and nursing homes because Alzheimer's patients, dementia patients, they grab chemical bottles and drink them by accident sometimes.
Right.
Once they install our system, they put them in just for that reason, so that if it gets grabbed and someone drinks it, so no harm done.
Yeah.
In the 15 years, on the commercial side, we've been selling 12 years. The statistic is 6% of janitors get injured from chemical exposure on the job. And in the 12 years that we've been selling our product, never once have we had a single incident with someone coming in contact with the solution, drinking it by accident. It's impossible that it would harm anybody.
So the hardest thing, and I'm sure you've heard this a lot, is when I'm using this, it doesn't look, smell, anything any different from water. So it's really hard for my brain to wrap itself around the idea that I am getting so much power out of something that has just been a regular part of my life all my life. And, it doesn't even smell like a swimming pool so it's hard to wrap your head around that. So this is where all your certification.
And it's part of our patented technology, right? Because we don't just put that ozone in the water where it's perfectly safe. But if we have this overflow on it, so what you could do when you're using it, you can afterwards untwist the bottle off the bottom and just smell the bottle and then we do have, you'll smell that we've altered that water because we do kind of recycle it again. What we don't spray out, it gets flushed back down to the bottle. And so you can smell that we've changed that water. And on the commercial side, you can definitely, when you fill a spray bottle with our larger system, you can smell that the water, it's not water anymore.
Gotcha.
But that's the hardest part, right? There's no color, there's no foam.
Yeah.
And it's scent free. But most schools, government buildings, like most facilities have gone scent free. But it's just in consumers' minds, right? That, for it to be clean, it has to smell like lemons or something, right? But it's those scents that are the most dangerous, actually. That's the
Right. That's my family's issue is we're real sensitive to the scents and the fragrances and the dyes.
and fragrances, yeah.
I had a chemical issue with my daughter when she was much younger that kind of got me started on all this and helped me to realize how much stuff we don't want is in things that we bring in our home.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you're saying with underneath the kitchen cabinet.
Yeah. You get a housekeeper in a hotel that cleans 19 rooms in a day using chemicals.
Oh, yeah.
And after 8 hours, if they have asthma or even if they don't, they're like, my breathing is labored by the time they hit that 8-hour mark. They switch to our system. No problems at all.
Yeah.
We have people that are off, that can't work with chemicals anymore in a commercial setting because of chemical sensitivities. They bring our systems in, and right away, these people can go back to work. That's how safe it is.
We don't think about how much exposure we get to things. And so many times, the tests that we see publicized by manufacturers are for maybe a one-time exposure to a chemical. And yes, it's safe for one-time exposure, but when you're using something day after day, week after week, it adds up.
Oh, yeah.
It may not be as big of an impact in our homes, but right now we're cleaning like crazy. We're all in our homes. We're here, just the wear and tear on our homes is huge. And then we're all concerned about what we're bringing in, tracking in. So we are cleaning a lot more. So it matters a lot right now.
And if you're using traditional harsh chemicals, that stays on the surface.
Yeah.
Like we even tell people when you first start, if you're switching from traditional chemicals to iClean Mini, the first couple of times, I think you're going to get great results anyways. You're going to love it. But if you don't, it's because you got to get all that chemical off these surfaces now. But once you get things down to clean, they'll stay cleaner longer. You'll have none of that chemical residue there that you don't see either. It's a change. Definitely.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that because I've been using an all natural, another cleaner, totally natural. Pretty much everything in my house is, but it did leave a little bit of residue. And I noticed when I was cleaning mirrors in particular that it took a couple applications with using the iClean to get that clean. And now that makes sense what you're saying. So I understand what's happening now.
Yeah.
Is we're just adjusting the surface to this new cleaning routine and taking care of whatever residue might have been left. Okay, so talk about what kind of icky stuff does this iClean approach in our homes? You mentioned dirt, germs, and odors. So what else?
Yeah, so I always say, it replaces all your everyday cleaning products. We're not that heavy duty degreaser.
Okay.
But, so floors, carpets, it's amazing on glass. It's amazing on stainless steel, mirrors.
I agree.
Here's sinks, like a toilet everywhere. And the beauty is everywhere you're cleaning, it's going to clean better. And it's killing up to 99.999% as well, right?
So mold too?
Now you're not using separate, mold as well.
Okay.
And mold's a tricky one. So I always put the disclaimer in there on mold. Once mold's dead, it's black, right? You don't see the mold that's alive still. So
now we see the dead.
Yeah. Of course, the first couple of times you're going to use it, maybe more black's going to show up, but that's because you're killing the mold. But once you get rid of it all, and you might now have to use something to scrub it off, the dead mold. We're not bleach. We don't discolor it and just hide it.
Right.
But we kill it. And once you remove it, it won't come back again as long as you keep cleaning with this product.
Okay.
Just like you think of a Windex or some of these other products that you would clean with, all they do is clean. And then you have to use a second product to disinfect. With us, it's all in one. You're cleaning, disinfecting.
Well, hang tight, y'all. We're going to dive in a little bit more to what else this little miracle gadget can do. So hang tight. 5 myths of green homes. 5 things that you probably believe about green homes that may be costing you thousands of dollars. Which myth do you hear the most? Get your copy of 5 Myths at greenhomecoach.com and click on the button for 5 Myths of Green Homes. You can also connect with me on Facebook at Green Home Coach and let me know the green home myth you hear the most. I'll also share tips, products, and resources. Be sure to download your copy of 5 Myths of Green Homes now, and then check back to learn more. Okay, Steve. So we've had a really good start to this conversation about where all we can use iClean and what it will take care of. So you said it cleans and it disinfects. So if I want to use it as a cleaner, do I use it differently than if I'm using it to disinfect?
You use it the same way. So it's the same solution coming out the end. The only thing we do say sometimes is if there's some visible dirt on the surface, clean it first. And then do a second application for the disinfecting. And for the disinfecting, you need a dwell time. So most chemicals, if you read the labels close today, they need like 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Right.
Our claim is with 1 minute dwell time. So much quicker. And I even tell people, you'll notice once you spray this down and you wipe it, like on a countertop on glass, you can leave it a little spotty, and that way it will stay wet, and just let it dry that way. And you'll find it's going to dry streak-free and spot-free. That's one of the ways to make sure you get that proper dwell time out of it. But of course, if you don't, and most of us don't clean leaving things down, ozone, some of the simpler bacteria to kill, it pretty much kills it instantly, like within seconds. So yeah, like I say, it's just if you're worried about some of these harder to kill viruses or fungus where you want to keep that dwell time.
So if you just want cleaning, you can go on and wipe it up if you want to, if you don't want wet surfaces. And if you want to disinfect, leave it for at least a minute before wiping up, or just let it air dry.
Correct. Yep, you got it.
Okay. I think I did that right.
Yeah, but there's nothing else you do different. You grab the same bottle, or the same iClean Mini, I should call it, and does both.
So it was interesting what you were saying in our last segment about how you may need to clean a surface a couple of times just to get rid of any residue left from any earlier cleaning products that had other ingredients. And I had noticed when I used it on one of my stainless steel appliances that it left a little bit of spotting. And I'm going to go back and do it again because I think that was probably a residue from a previous cleaner.
Yeah, that's the stainless steel is always going to take a couple of applications.
It's tricky.
We'll jump into an elevator in a commercial setting, and that's it. They're like, well, look at the first time and go, okay, or I'll say use paper towel because it won't leave little spots behind, right? It'll absorb the solution better. Yeah, that's one of our claim to fame, how well it works and then how clean. So once you do that with stainless steel, the problem with that is you put a handprint on there.
Yeah.
You can't just clean that handprint. You got to do the whole panel, right?
Right. You got to buff it out.
Yeah. Whereas once you get all those chemicals off of there, clean with this, you get a spot on it. You can just spot clean.
Oh.
And that's the other thing. Like,
okay, I'm going to go try that.
yeah. And you won't have to do the whole panel and it'll blend. Yeah, it'll blend in. You'll also find that it'll stay cleaner longer, that stainless steel. The handprints won't show up as easily.
So you could use this like on the kids' toys.
Oh, yeah. You could use it on kids' toys. And yeah, once again, no chemical residue, which they'll probably putting those toys in their mouth at some point, right?
Okay.
You could use it on stains. If you had a wine stain, a pet stain, remote control. Yeah, it could be on carpet, upholstery.
Yeah. So how do I disinfect my remote controls? Obviously, I don't want to spray it on all the buttons and get it in the crevices.
But what I recommend is you spray the cloth that you would use to wipe.
Okay.
And just use that to then wipe the remote. Of course, it's going to be hard to get into let it air dry.
Okay.
It could be impossible to get into every nook and cranny in there, right?
Yeah.
But at least you'll get
Our electronics are probably the most germ-ridden thing in our lives right now.
Yeah, there's this swab test thing you can do out there called ATP, and we always grab a person's cell phone to use as a test because the initial numbers are always super high. And of course, it's a great way to show people that we get that number down to a disinfected level once you use the iClean Mini.
Okay. So you mentioned plants, and then after that, I'm going to move us on to a different topic because I want to make sure we have some time for it.
Yeah.
How do you use this on plants, and why would you use it on plants?
Yeah, so on plants, what's ideal is if it could produce enough solution that you could put flowers in the vase, because there's studies out there that we did it's called University of Guelph. It's the equivalent of your Cornell. They're very agricultural centric. And they did tests using our solution on plants, and they lasted 4 times as long when sitting in ozone solution.
So cut plants more than live plants? Is that correct?
Yeah, so live plants I would use at the beginning. So there's been some studies that they did as well, and it stopped all the dampening off, I think was the term they used. I'm not a horticulturalist. So they were first starting to grow seedlings, more plants would survive and grow and keep growing. So
that may be worth a separate blog or podcast. We'll get a botanist on here and talk about it.
Oh, I better freshen up then. Yeah.
Talk about ozoned water and little plants.
But on produce, like if you're talking plants, like you could spray the surface of all the produce. Well, then I had that example of how we got the Time Magazine Best Invention Award. That was because of E. coli on spinach.
Greens, definitely. Yeah.
It'll actually make the produce last longer as well. So even if you're buying organic, there's actually, most people don't realize this, there's things called organic pesticides. We've tested that too.
There are, and there's overblow on everything that we eat. So
yeah, we had that tested too. So the ozone breaks down the pesticides. It doesn't just wash it off and now it's in the water in your sink. It actually breaks it down to harmless elements.
Wow. Okay.
You get rid of the pesticides, the food will taste better and last longer if you're putting it back in the refrigerator as well.
So clean it before you put it in the refrigerator or store it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. This is a device. This is an appliance. So this has a really different way of purchasing it and using it than what we're used to using to clean our homes. So kind of the elephant in the room. It costs a little bit more than it does to buy a cleaning solution. But a couple of things I started thinking of, Steve, that I'm like, how am I going to tell people about this? Because it's pretty cool. But I'm like, okay, how many cleaners do I have? Now, I'm experimenting all the time with cleaning products. So I've got way more than I want to. But, you have something for glass, something for stainless steel, something for your floors, something for deodorizing, something else for disinfecting. And we don't need all that, right?
Up and tile. There's so many other specialty products that we bring in our homes, right?
So one device.
Yeah, so I'll say, the upfront cost is maybe a little more than people might expect. But I think the statistic is out there that the average household spends $75 to $100 a year on cleaning products.
At least.
I would say that number probably is accurate this year for sure.
Yeah, this year.
And once you buy this product, it's just going to last. It should last forever. There's a battery inside. The cell just keeps working. Yeah, so it should be the last cleaning product you ever buy.
So it's got a guarantee on it. That's pretty good. Pretty awesome, I thought.
Yeah, and we're not a new company. I like to always say, we've been doing this a long time. So we stand behind the product as well, right? And we'll be around for a long time because we firmly believe in not only the product, the technology, and how we can always make it even better.
So the only thing that will ever need to be replaced in this unit is that little cartridge, which I kind of think of as a filter, but that's not really an accurate description. But how often do you need to change that little cartridge?
Yeah, that little cartridge should last around 3 months. So it's the equivalent of 6 spray bottles worth of chemicals.
Okay.
So in that respect, it's like $1.50 a bottle, call it. So much less expensive than what we would go spend on chemical cleaners in the store, right? And like I said, what that cartridge is doing is just taking some select minerals out of the water so that we can guarantee the ozone is going into solution. In standardized tests, we get 15% more soil removal. So it actually helps the performance, helps make it clean better kill rates as well. That is our patented technology, that cartridge, but there's so much scientific support out there from universities around the world that say, doing this alteration, we'll call it, to the water, improves performance significantly.
Well, and you guys have really done your homework on having this tested and certified and really backing up the technology, which I really applaud. And I thank you, because when the efficacy of this product is almost invisible because you can't see the germs that it's killing and you can't see the viruses that it's killing, that testing is that assurance that it's doing what it says it will do. And I really appreciate that y'all have put that much in. And it really shows how much you all believe in this paradigm shift to the way we clean. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, well, some of the commercial clients we sell to go through their health and safety departments, we have to provide a lot of data and a lot of support for them to bring it into their buildings. Once they realize what it is, though, they're like, okay, we need to put this in every building around the world. It's because of the health and safety benefits this over chemicals. And it, of course, the big part is it has to work.
Right.
And we do, when you do look at it long term, we will stand behind it that it'll save you money as well.
Okay. Well, anybody that's listening to this, if you want to ask me about my experience with it, contact me. All the contact information is in the podcast postings. We will also post links in the show notes to the iClean page so you can get one of your own. And there's also a code you can use, Green Home Coach, that will get you 20% off. And so we will get you going with your own. Seriously, folks, I've tried some different stuff, but this one's really different. And we've been super, super pleased with the results, and having that tested reassurance that we are eliminating the germs and the viruses in our home is super important to me. We're living with some compromised situations in our household, so that is a huge peace of mind. Just whatever action we can take that helps protect us. And I think we're all going to change the way we look at cleaning from here on out, with this pandemic changing so many things in our day-to-day lives.
So true.
Well, Steve, you have been so full of information, and I want to thank you for taking the time to come on and share iClean with all of our listeners. By the way, folks, I think this is a great holiday gift if you are in that mode right now, as I am. Buy it for yourself, buy it for your family, buy it for the people that are really, they're safe, and health and wellness is really important to you. And Steve, I hope we have an opportunity to bring you back on.
Thank you so much for having me on. The pleasure was all mine. This has been a lot of fun to discuss and be able to talk about the iClean Mini.
Well, I hope we get to a lot more.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great green day. And that's a wrap.
That wraps this episode of the Everyday Green Home Podcast. Ready to use what you learned? Get the show notes with all the resources mentioned in this episode. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening and for leaving a review. And remember that living a little better and greener is easier than you think.